Well, again, everybody, it's Plowboy's Ghost Channel. Got an update for you on the Rossi situation, that rifle, the replacement, what I'm going to replace it with, or maybe what I have replaced it with. The thumbnail hasn't given it away, or the title. I got a message the other day before yesterday, couldn't go till yesterday, to go to the shop, my local gun dealer, Enabler. Said he got the rifle that Rossi had sent me. If y'all will remember, they couldn't fix my stainless Rossi 92 45 Colt trapper that I wanted, and they wouldn't replace it with one of the same, even though they still make that rifle, or they still make the rifle. They claimed they couldn't replace it. They claimed that they didn't still make it. So I had the option of paying them more money after jumping through all these hoops over the course of months for an R95 Trapper 4570 that I didn't want because I've got a 26-inch JM 1895 Cowboy in the house. So yeah, I went off yesterday down there and I had it in my mind that I wasn't coming home with that Rossi 95. Matter of fact, I never laid eyes on it. Never even saw the box. But I had already told my dealer what I was thinking, what I was going to do, and said, hey, you might own that if you want it instead of something else you've got that I want more. He said, come on, look, see what we can figure out. Went down there and I spent about an hour and a half in the store walking around. And I could have put money with it, and I thought about this, I thought about that. I thought about a new Morocco Winchester 1873. Turns out this was a color case hardened model with extra fancy wood on it, but I'd have had to give too much money boot. He's basically going to allow me $700 on that other rifle. Losing money, but y'all, I didn't have a choice of getting my money back out of it. I didn't have a choice of coming home with a rifle that I wanted for that same amount of money because I didn't want that rifle. And because, well, I just wasn't going to come home with it. So I knew I was going to lose something, but the question is, am I going to have something I really don't like, or am I going to have something I like a little bit better, even if it's not perfect? So I made a decision. I walked around for a long time. I looked at that. I looked at some 1886 clones that he had. Once again, I didn't really want to do that since I've got the 26-inch Cowboy, and that's what I really want. So, as you might tell, here lately my mood has shifted just a little bit back more toward where we started out at 9 years ago, 9+ years ago on this channel. No, I didn't go buy another black powder gun. It's always a possibility, but I didn't do that today. I didn't do it yesterday either. So, walked around, I looked, and I thought about things for a little bit. And y'all are going to scratch your head, shake your head at me for a couple of reasons on this. I don't think because you think it's no good. But if you remember, I had one, and I had a decently popular video. It still gets views. I still get comments on it years later about having to decide whether to keep it. You know, I traded a Glock for that one, Glock 20 for that one. So we got a 4 5/8 new Vaquero in 45 Colt. Now, she's unloaded. Take my word for it. If you don't, I don't care. If I shoot myself, you won't see this video. If I shoot you, it's going to be pretty interesting because, figure it out. So, that's what I did. And no, I don't. I'm going to explain a couple of things. First of all, this gun to me was worth more than what I had sitting there from Rossi that I didn't want. Then there was the whole principle of the way Rossi did me on that. Yeah, I'm still whining about it, I guess. The principle of the way they did me on that. Yeah, they sent me another gun. It was something I didn't want. They made, had me pay more money for it. And I still had to wait their time and didn't get any contact from them except for when it seemed like they were trying to make the process a little more difficult and hoping to get out of it. But hey, I figured their business model was to wait and see if I died before they had to settle up with me. So I was actually surprised that the gun came in. Like I said, I never saw it. There is a reason, besides the fact that I've had great service from Ruger in the past, there is a reason that I came home with this yesterday in exchange for a new rifle that I hadn't even seen, that technically I owned, that Rossi sent me. On the same day that I was going down there to get, or going down there to find something to trade for, if you'll remember, I have sent my Ruger 4 and 5/8 Super Blackhawk Bisley 480 back to Ruger for something that was not Ruger's fault. Ruger shouldn't have to pay for it. I expected to have to pay $100, $200 to have it all straightened out. I needed a pawl. I needed them to fit a pawl. I wanted them to refinish the frame on it. And I needed a new loading gate spring. I called Ruger. This is back November 24th, actually. I called Ruger, told him, hey, look, this is what's happened to the gun. This is what I need. Can y'all do it? And he said, yeah, we can do it. And I said, okay, let's set up the shipping, get me a label, whatever, tell me how much, and he took down all my information. And I said, well, you not need my card number for the label? He said, no, I'm just sending you a label. I said, well, you do understand this ain't a warranty claim. He said, oh, I understand that. He said, and tell you the truth, that we're probably not going to charge you for the parts and whatever else either. I'm like, well, I'm willing to, just let me know if I owe anything, and I'll give you a card number, and we'll take care of it. So they get the gun. Actually, they got it on the 24th. I didn't ship it on the 24th. They got it on the 24th, and I think that's when it was. The 4th, I got I believe it was the 4th. I got an email telling me they had moved it to a technician for evaluation and for repair. Well, I didn't hear nothing else, so I called them first thing yesterday morning when they opened, and I said, hey, I know that y'all probably ain't finished with it. I just want to know if you know, because I'm trying to stay where I have cell phone signal with Verizon. It's kind of iffy in some places. So that if you call me and tell me what I owe to get the card number, that we don't have any hiccups here. And I said, do you have any idea what I owe y'all? Yep. And she looked at it. She comes back. She says, well, I don't have a note about anything. So she said, I'm pretty sure you're going to be good. I'm like, okay, but if that changes, just leave me a message if you don't get me, and I'll call you right back as quick as I can. So within 40 minutes of that, I got an email from Ruger telling me that the gun was repaired and that they were preparing to ship it. They've already shipped it. It's coming in tomorrow. That was yesterday, Wednesday. This is Thursday. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. Didn't charge me a thing. Well, they also emailed me the bill of lading or whatever that they put in there to tell what they did or explanation. And it says that they replaced the loading gate spring, fitted me a new pawl to the gun, and refinished the frame, that they safety checked it, function tested it, test fired it, and cleaned it, and it's on its way back to me. No charge for anything. So I am so happy with Ruger. I ain't got the gun back yet, but I'm certain that it's going to work. They did all that. I know it's going to work. And it wasn't a big deal anyway. Like I said, it just really needed a new pawl. That's all that was keeping it from running. And so I'm not concerned about getting it, opening the box and be like, oh crap, they screwed it up. It's not. I don't believe for 1 second that's going to happen. So and they'll, if it on the outside wildest chance, and it'll go back and it'll be right. I know it. But y'all, they didn't have my gun even 2 weeks there at their facility. That right there will be employed in a little bit different way, a little bit different role. It's not a replacement for a historic clone. It don't fill the same part of my soul that those do. Just like the Marlin 1895, modern Marlin 1895 patterned after the 336 don't fill my soul the same way that an 1873 would. My 1873 that's in there, a clone of an 1873. But they still have their purpose. This is a crossover. The Blackhawks, I look at them as utilitarian with sort of a traditional westernish look. Cool. The clones, these are pretty close to true pattern. You know, these fill the exact same niche in my wants and my desires that a coat would. Exact same. This is kind of in between the Blackhawk and the clones. It's not quite the heavy duty utilitarian Blackhawk, although this is tier 2 capable, which the U-Birdie, according to Brian Pierce, is too. And I'm not going to say anything about the Pieta. I have my feelings, but I'm not going to lead anybody wrong right now. Risk leading anybody wrong. This is tier 2 capable, you know, which I care, but I don't care. I'm already loading 2 different tiers, tier 1 and tier 3. Tier 1 for the clones and tier 3 for the Blackhawks. I'm not really wanting to go too far into tier 2 worrying about that. Or I think whatever works in the tier 1s will work and do the job in this too. But there's just a different... I had one of these in 5.5 inch back before I started the gun portion of this channel and loved it. Carried it for a while. I got pictures with me, you know, wearing it probably 2016, 2017, something like that, not long before I started all the gun stuff on this channel. And it was, like I said, it was 5.5 inch. I bought it new. Got it for a good deal at a place over in Huntsville, Alabama. And I let it go. And I kind of miss... You know, this is built tough. Don't get me wrong. This is probably tougher than the Colt clones in some ways, internally and whatever else. It's not overall as durable as the Blackhawk is, as far as, you know, standing up to high pressure. But I think this has its place too. I would not ever wear this if I were doing a reenactment or a, you know, show or whatever with somebody. I wouldn't wear this in place of a clone, you know, because these are just 2 different things. But this holds a place with me too, you know. And that one that I did the video on right over there, the Love It or List It, that got so many views, I got a lot of comments on that. Keep it, keep it, keep it, keep it. You know, and there was a part of me that was like, you know, at the time, to get something I wanted more, I had to let something go. Now, depending on what it is, how expensive it is, I still have to do that, but I don't have to do that as much anymore. So now I've kind of circled back around to where I've got what I want most for one thing, you know, in the clones, and I've got the Blackhawks for the heavy-duty stuff, the hunting stuff, the, you know, Alabama grizzly defense, and hopefully going to Idaho and Montana one day, Wyoming one day, and maybe Alaska. I don't think I'll ever see it. But I wanted one of them again too. And there'll be times, of course, I think I'm gonna get some of the antiqued, false fake ivory from Magnetus to go on this, because I believe that'll look good on that gun. Already shot it. Come home, shot it, and then afterwards I checked the cylinder throat, and figured out they were all way too tight. So a new Vaquero, they can be too tight too. These were tight, and I had to lap them to get my 4.52, freshly sized 4.52 bullets, cast bullets, to slip through with finger pressure, with mild, light finger pressure. Got them to that. It grouped okay, but I guarantee you, after I did that, because they were tight, you would have had to have hammered the hell out of those bullets to get them down, swage them down to get them to go through those chambers, or through the throats. Now, that's right. Everything I've done that on so far, all them Blackhawks, every one of them, it's helped. So I know it's going to have helped that one too. There you go, y'all. By the way, I got black powder loaded up in them, and I am going to order some Swiss. Get my velocity up. I ain't forgot that. I got black powder in them. These are my standard 8.2 grains of universal load smokeless that I've got for this. So I took the lemon that Rossi, you know, sold me, or that I had of theirs, took that lemon and let Rossi go, let the lemon Rossi go, and I made lemonade, Ruger flavored. And I think Ruger is a company doing me right like they have so far. I think they deserve it. So that's how I feel about it. I took a long time to get to this point. I appreciate y'all watching. If you watched this long, I will talk to y'all later.